Welcome to practice. Now we're going to begin kneeling. So just need enough support under your sit bones so that that's comfortable for your knees. So it might be a little stool, could be some blocks. You can kneel down on your heels if that's comfortable, or a blanket put over. I'm going to try and keep the heels in close to the hip and the feet pretty much parallel. If you were a person with pretty flat arches, then you could try tucking your toes towards each other. But otherwise, we're looking for a fairly even stretch inside, outside of the foot and ankle. Letting the spine lengthen, finding your breath. And here at the beginning of your practice, gathering your energies, yourself. And noticing what happens when you connect to your breath. Noticing the space you've made for yourself on your mat. Now in your body. We're going to interlock the fingers and stretch them out in front, so palms face forward. And then as you start to lift your arms, keep your shoulder blades down. And we look for that sensation of the armpits lengthening. Keeping the shoulder blades down and the neck nice and relaxed, so the head stays easily balanced over your long spine. Lift the ribs, lengthen the belly, lift the breastbone, and enjoying the breath. Good. And then releasing that side and interlock your fingers the other way. Palms face forward, stretch the arms straight, shoulder blades stay down. And look for all those lengthening from the pelvis to the ribs, from the rib to the armpit, armpit to the hand, and neck relax. Good. And then releasing. Nice one. All right. Now we're going to be bending forward in the kneeling position. So it might feel better to take your knees out a little bit wider. We're going to interlock the hands behind. See if you can get the heels of the hands together, pressing the knuckles down towards the floor. And just gently, as you exhale, reaching forward with the torso. And inhale and come back up. Good. You can take the arms away from your back and lift them at the same time, if that feels okay. Inhaling up and exhaling forward. Keep reaching the knuckles. Good. Swap your fingers the other way. Keep going. Exhaling forward. Lift the hands away from your back. Reach the knuckles from the ears. Nice work. Releasing, and we're going to come into an all fours position. Right. Tuck your toes under and lift your knees just off the floor. I'm going to rock just a little bit forward and back over the wrist. You feel the work of the core of the body here, connecting to your breath. So even though this movement asks a lot, we find that calm connection to the breath. Good, and then releasing, and take a moment into child's pose. Making space for your back to broaden and lengthen. Good, and then forearms onto the mat in front of you. Elbows about shoulder width. Stretch your fingers out wide. Tuck your toes under. Good, lift your knees just off the floor. And a little bit of rocking forward and back. Connecting to the flow of your breath. Beautiful work. Child's pose. Feel that connection to the breath. Good. Coming up onto all fours. We're going to take the right hand under the left arm and slide it out as far as you can to the left, bending your left elbow so that you can get your right shoulder close to the floor. Maybe you can lay your head down on the floor there. It's a nice twist for the upper back or the middle back. Just taking a few deep breaths. Letting the ribs give in to this shape without tension in the neck. Good, and then coming back up. And the second side, we'll take the left arm under the right arm and really reach it along the floor so that your right elbow is bending, and maybe you can get your left shoulder near to the floor or on the floor. Let your head rest or keep the sides of the neck even and long. Front and back of the throat. Let the ribs give in to the shape of the pose. Good. And then coming up onto all fours. Nice work. Take forward virasana. So hips back as far as they'll go to the heels and stretch the arms forward. Keep the hips a little from, sorry, not the hips, the ribs a little from side to side. And feel that movement available where the ribs join the spine. So lifting one side of the rib cage, then the other. Walking the hands forward, but keeping the sit bones near to the heel. Good, and then centering and in stillness, finding the breath. And of course, the breath is not still, and especially here, we can really feel the movement of the rib cage with the breath. Good, and then up onto all fours and tuck the toes under, downward facing dog pose. Now, we're going to start off with the heels really high so that you can feel your toes stretching, legs parallel, and then take your hips back towards the wall behind you. Bend the knees a little bit more, but keep the heels lifting. Good. So the more you take the hips back, then the more we're opening the chest, lengthening the armpits, and let your head hang down. Feeling connected to the breath. Good. Now we're going to stay right up on the balls of the feet and pick up your right leg. You're going to walk your right knee towards your right wrist and then come back into that high-heeled position. Take the hips back. Good. Pick up the left foot. Walk the left knee forward to the left wrist. And then back into your high-heeled and downward facing dog pose. Good. And keep going from side to side. When you place your feet back down, we're right up onto the back of the toes. You're getting that nice toe stretch. Good. Staying connected to the flow of the breath. Even though the posture might be challenging, keep that calm connection to the breath. One more side. Nice work. Knees to the floor. And this time, child's pose. Relax your arms back beside you, unless you feel they're more comfortable stacked under your forehead. And let your shoulders be wide, your neck feel long. Enjoying that deep connection to the breath. Good. And then arms all the way forward, forward Virasana. Feel the big swell of the ribs with the breath. Great. Into all fours. Let's take the right knee to the right wrist, and for pigeon pose, scoot your right foot forward towards the left hand. Now, the further forward the foot comes, the bigger the sensation in the hips. So if you want to keep it a little more comfortable for your knees and your hips, put the foot back more under the right sit bone. So left foot coming forward if that's appropriate for your body, and we'll take the left leg back so the hips are sitting square to the floor. If you really feel unwieldy here, you can put a folded up blanket under your right hip bone to help you keep your hips level. We're going to lift up onto fingertips and start to explore our back bend shape. So the closer your hands are to your torso, the bigger the back bend. We'll draw the shoulder blades down. Feel the back of the neck long. Good. If you press your back foot, the left foot, and lift the kneecap a little away from the floor, squeeze the left buttock. Good. Now we're going to reach the torso out and over the floor in front. So you could walk your hands a little bit further forward or be on your forearms. Or if it feels right for your body, we can even take the hands out to straight. Listening to your breath. Good. And then walking your hands back. Press back into all fours and left knee forward. Good. So thinking about your left foot coming forward, but if that feels too strong in your knee or your hip, swing it back so it's more in line with your left sit bone, your left. And then start to slide back your right leg. In preparation for Ekapada Rajkapatanasana, proud pigeon pose. Good, and we'll press the back foot, lift the kneecap and squeeze the buttock, right buttock. Good, up onto fingertips. The closer your hands are to the front of your body, the bigger the back bend shape. You want to find that you're able to lengthen the spine in this back bending shape, lengthen the neck. You don't feel like you're crimping spine. Forward. Letting the belly lengthen, lifting the breastline, looking up, feeling proud. Beautiful. Hip back leg strong, the buttock muscle working. Good. And then we're going to lengthen the torso over the front leg. Take the hands a further forward, down onto your elbows. If that feels doable. Good. If you want to go further forward, even hands out in front. Keeping the torso as level as you can, the hips level, but allowing yourself to lengthen. Staying connected to the flow of your breath. Working in that space of the edge, the edge of enough. Realizing when it's enough. Good. And then walking the hands back and into all fours. Good. And downward facing dog pose. And here we're going to pad the feet, one heel down to the floor and then the other. So hamstrings might be a little bit tight to start off with. Just exploring that feeling and letting your shoulders feel really relaxed and your weight of your head drawing length into your spine. Okay, we're going to take little steps forward to the front of the mat, but use your feet as if they were hands. Try and get all of your toes to press down, to spread out, to straighten. Feel the ball of your foot, feel the heel of the foot, the flexibility of your feet. Both when you're putting your foot down and when you're lifting your feet up. Good. And when you've padded as far forward as your body allows, then roll up. Arms up, looking up, and then Tadasana. We're going to pad forward and back on the mat again. And just to make sure you understand, let's, in our standing position, just rocking from side to side, so taking the weight in one foot and then the other. And lifting the soles of the heels up, lifting the balls of the feet up, feeling how flexible the feet are. Even wriggle your toes like you can wriggle your hands. You want to try and use every joint. Let's tip to the outside of the feet, the inside of the feet, rocking back and forward. Good, tipping forward and back, up onto the toes, onto the heels. Lift your toes, spread them out. Good. All right, so we're going to do that again, and we're going to really try and use the feet like we can use our hands. Tadasana, Urdhva Hastasana, Uttanasana. Nice and relaxed in your neck. Good. So bend your knees enough to make this doable for your back. So you want to keep your back easeful, but let's try and take these little steps with the feet. So going backwards, of course, we're landing on the balls of the feet and then pressing the heel all the way to the back of the mat, so you get that nice big stretch in the back of your legs. Hands are flat onto the floor, as if in downward facing dog pose. All right, so walking forward, really try to pad the feet. So you have a cat-like feeling in your feet. And that will, we hope, translate into a cat-like feeling of suppleness and power in the body. Good, and then just keep going, go back again. Using all of the flexibility in the feet. Every joint. Good. And when you get forward, as far as you can, roll up. And arms up. And Tadasana. Nice. Okay, Tadasana at the front of the mat. So we're going to try and just keep that awareness in the feet, really use them, a little bit of balancing. If you like to have the seat of a chair facing you at the front of your mat, now would be a good time. Urdhva Hastasana, looking up. Uttanasana. Only go so far forward that you can keep that easeful spine. Can't feel the bones of your spine protruding. Finding your connection to your breath. And just play around and look for the stretch in your leg, whether you like to do that one leg at a time, or maybe if you always do one leg at a time, try doing both together. Good. We're going to step the left foot back for Virabhadrasana 1. So a nice big step. The back heel won't be on the floor, but you'll press back through the back of the leg. We'll keep the front leg bent, and we're going to look forward and embed the spine forward. Nice work. Now feel your feet. See if we can get that nice cat-like feeling of the feet on the floor. You feel the pads of your feet. Good. And we're going to use the feet like hands to hold the floor and take the hands away from the floor, the real hands, not the feet hands. The hands are lifting from the floor, the palms are lifting up, and you're looking forward. Ooh, good, feeling your balance. Nice work. Feel the core of your body as you powerfully lift the torso, lift your arms, Virabhadrasana 1. Let the hips sink down, the shoulder blades sink down, and you're looking up. Nice work. We're going to bring the hands in front of the heart and take your left elbow across to the outside of your right knee. Keep the hands in front of the heart and turn the ribs. You're looking back over your right shoulder. We want to feel the feet are holding the floor like hands. You have your balance. Nice work. We're going to step forward. Turn forward. You're facing the front, and then step forward, lift up, and balance. Now the standing foot is holding the floor like a hand. So we've got all those little micro movements. Beautiful. Take your balance hold. That might be left tiptoes on the floor, hands in front of your heart, or holding your knee or your foot. Good, and release that side. Tadasana, Urdhva Hastasana, and Uttanasana. Find ease for your back. And a nice big stretch for your legs. We're taking the right foot back this time, that nice big distance for your Virabhadrasana 1. So bend your front knee and feel the feet like hands, and the back foot. You've only got your ball of the foot and the toes to work with here, but you can press back through the heel. Good. So we really want to feel the feet holding the floor. Lift the arms up by your side, palms up, look forward. Powerfully using the core of the body to lift the torso, arms up by the ears. Let the hips sink down a little. Lengthen the spine. So again, don't crimp anywhere along the spine. So find room to lengthen. Looking up. Palms together in front of the heart. Right elbow to the left. Turn your whole rib cage so you can keep your hands in front of your breastbone. Looking back over your left shoulder, and you feel your feet working the floor as if they were hands. Good. Turn back to the front. We're going to lift up and step forward. Whoa. And balance onto the left foot. Taking your balance hold. Feel the left foot like a hand. Toes along. Good. And then releasing that side. Tadasana. Connected to your breath. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Uttanasana. Embedding the bones of the spine to the front. Stretching through the back of the leg. Good. We're going to step the left foot back. And this time, have your heel on the floor. So we've got the full surface of the feet available to use the floor. And you want your feet to feel like they're hands, like you've got movement, flexibility, nuance. Great. Bend your front knee to make it a little bit easier on your back. And you're going to put your left hand on the floor just inside your right foot. Good. Put your right hand on your sacrum. Nice. And we're going to turn our torso to the right side. So feel your feet as though they were hands. They're really helping you. And we've got one hand on the floor. So like we've got 3 hands on the floor. Good. And then see how you go straightening your front leg. Lifting your right shoulder. If you can turn your torso, right shoulder lands over the left shoulder, you might be able to take your right arm up. Good. Release your arm, turn back to look at the front. We're going to lift up, step forward and balance. Good. Feeling all that lovely flexibility in the foot. Take your balance hold. And the curves of the spine are long. Shoulders relaxed. And we're trusting the agility of the standing foot. Good. And then release that side. Maybe I'm getting confused with hands and feet. Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. And as you exhale, Uttanasana. Feel easeful in your spine. Stretch in your legs. Great. Right foot back, but with the heel able to be on the floor. Feeling the whole surface of the feet able to negotiate the floor. Good. Okay. Bend your front knee so it's a little bit easier on your back. Place your right hand on the floor on the inside of your left foot. Good. Left hand on your sacrum. See how you go turning your ribs to the left side. Oh, it can be a big ask of the body to connect to your breath. You can keep turning the ribs if that's comfortable. And you might be able to get your left leg to strengthen. Feel your feet. If you're comfortable to take your left arm straight up, do that. Paravarta Trikonasana. Good. Look back down to the floor in front. We're going to stand up and step forward and balance on the left leg. Oh. Take your balance hold. Might be left tiptoes on the floor in front. Might be lifting the right leg. Sorry, right tiptoes on the floor in front. Might be lifting the right leg, holding the knee or holding the foot. And whatever the balance hold, lengthen the curves of the spine. Shoulders relax, neck relax. Feel the core of your body lifting the spine. And the left foot negotiating the floor. The hand-like foot. Good. And then release. Tadasana. Beautiful. Now, we're going to take the heels a little wider than the hips, toes turned out. Let's put the arms out in front for a counterweight for a squat. Squat as far as your knees allow. And try to keep your heels on the floor. So go as far as you can, then lift up a little bit. Heels stay on the floor. Lift the pelvic floor. Good. And then put your hands down onto the floor. Okay, we're going to lift up now, right up onto the balls of the feet. So lift the heels as high as you can. Keep lifting the pelvic floor. And then lower the heels to the floor. Arms stay out in front. Good. Lift up onto the balls of the feet as high as you can. Good. And then pressing the heels down to the floor. And one more of those. Lift up onto the balls of the feet. As high as you can. Lift the pelvic floor. Good. And then heels to the floor. And you might be able to sit down without rolling from there, or else use your hands to help you. Sitting onto a blanket. Let's put our feet out in front. They've been working so beautifully. Give your toes a good wriggle. Wriggle your hands at the same time. Imagine that possibility that your feet could be so dexterous that they can always catch you. You start to lose your balance. All right. Put them on the floor so they're about hip width. Hold the front of your knees and lean back for boat pose. In boat pose, we really want to find and support the best feeling for the spine. Find your long spinal curves, neck relaxed. Good, and we start to use the whole core of the body to support healthy spine. Lift the pelvic floor. If you let go with your hands, you have to hold more with your core muscle to make sure you are still feeling healthy in your spine. The more you lean back, the more we have to use that core musculature. Maybe your feet come off the floor as well. Really lifting the pelvic floor. Keeping the chest broad, staying connected to nice work and release. I love this bit where you hold the front of your leg and really lengthen your spine. Feels so nice after Parapurna Navasana, both poses. Good. Simple cross legs or a comfortable position for your legs for a twist. Take the right hand onto your left leg, left hand behind you softly, turning your, find your edge of enough. And then find your breath. You inhale, the ribs expand, the lungs expand, the belly expands. But as you exhale, there's room for the ribs to move. You feel like it was there before. All that potential in your body, connecting to your breath. Yeah. And then release. Come back to center. Change the cross of your leg. And to the right side, left hand on your right leg, right hand behind you softly. Lifting and lengthening your spine and turning and finding your edge of the enough. And then noticing your breath. Expansion and contraction of your ribs, your lungs, your belly. Discover where you can move with that connection. And back to center. You're going to lay down. You're going to take the arms out from the shoulders and the legs out straight. Stack your right heel on your left toes. Your feet are vertical. And take the stack of the feet to the left, to the floor on the left, or towards the floor. And let your lower half of the body roll. The right hip is lifting and the right shoulder is squeeze the right buttock muscles. And then coming back. Unstack the feet and the left heel goes up on the right tiptoes. And then the feet go right. And the left hip lifts. The left shoulder blade stays on the floor. You can look left and then lift your lower back away from the floor and squeeze the left buttock muscle. Take your breath. Good. And then back to center. And just lower the arms a little and relax as if in Shavasana. By all means, stay here if you that time in your schedule. And stay to you. If, like me, you need to finish your practice. Bending in your arms and your legs. And rolling to your right side. And coming up to sitting. Bringing your hand in front of the palm. It's the feeling of the practice.